Um, so we today we will look at types and functions of academic writing. Um, and this is a very important area. Um, because as I said, academic writing is very crucial for our academic life and our academic career. A university is a center of research, and you need to know scientific writing. This is scientific writing, in other words. And when I began, I remember saying that this is the highest form of writing, that when they are graded, yeah, in the order of gradation, academic writing takes the first position because it shares new ideas, innovations. It also shares ideas that solve problems in real life. And that's why it's valued above creative writing and other types of writing, like even the journalistic writing. This one is scientific, and mostly it deals with things that um, are real, and it solves our problems. You cannot make any discovery without writing a paper, presenting it in a conference to be um, in a conference to do what? To be able uh, to be critiqued by peer reviewers and be accepted as part of research. So academic writing is critical for undergraduate students, not only for excelling in coursework, but also for developing the ability to communicate ideas effectively and contribute meaningfully to academic conversations. And we talk about conversations, we are talking about scientific topics, scientific ideas that exist. That anytime you write a paper, you are contributing to ideas. So sometimes good research is based on what was done in the past. For example, you cannot write anything about electricity without at least referring to Michael Faraday, because he was the founder, and of course, many other conversations came after him. So conversations are those scientific topics that you contribute to. You can extend them, you can reject them or overturn them, yeah, or you can identify your own, which is a bit different from the existing conversation. So in this section, you learn to analyze various types of academic writing, and these are descriptive writing, analytical writing, and then you have what we call persuasive writing, and finally, we will look at critical writing. So there are four major types: descriptive, analytical, persuasive, and finally critical writing. So that those are the four types we will look at in this session. So what are the expected learning outcomes? By the end of this particular lesson, you should be able to analyze different types of academic writing, the ones I've mentioned. Two, describe the characteristics of different types of academic writing. So you should be able to describe them. When you say descriptive writing, you should be able to tell me the features, and then you should be able to describe the various functions of academic writing and their significance in research and scholarship, and finally discuss the role of academic writing in intellectual development. Basically, before we look at descriptive, academic writing is characterized by formality and objectivity. So there are three major things you need to know about academic writing. Formality, it is formal. We don't allow informal words like dad, like mom, or contractions like can't, didn't. Those ones are not allowed. Once you write in a term paper, a word like can't, didn't, won't, already you have gone out of the formality that is required. So here everything is formal, and we must have a good introduction, a good main body, conclusion. Main body can have the background, it can have the objectives of your study, it can have the major focus of your study. It's also called a problem statement. The main body can also have a discussion section where you discuss, and then you must have a results section. Then you see it is very, very organized. Then you must have references where you give us the sources of the works you have cited from. You see, so these papers are very formulaic, and that's why we are saying they are very formal. It's also objective. You don't come here praising people, just praising people. This is a very phenomenal researcher. We don't want words like phenomenal, a very trustworthy research. That one shows your attitude. And we are not interested with your emotions and attitude in scientific writing. Scientific writing is objective. If there are mistakes, you point them out without attacking the person. You don't say this was among the most foolish kind of research. You don't use words like foolish. Those words are not allowed. So when you write a term paper, let your language be formal and be objective. Then technicality, it means it has specialized words that every area, if you come from computer science, you come from IT, you come from whatever area, there are certain vocabularies which are used in that particular area. Like literature, you'll hear words like semantic redundancy, semantic absurdity. That is the language for literature. Now, you cannot carry that one into computer science. So we are saying it's a technical type of writing, a technical type of writing. And we have said it's formal, so we avoid conversational tones. Conversational tones must be avoided. So to present information impartially, academic writing achieves objectivity by minimizing personal references and emotions and concentrating on facts, ideas, and evidence. That is what we want. We want facts, we want ideas, we want evidence. We don't want your emotions. We don't want attitudes. We don't want attitudes. So some words you are not supposed to use. And the technical, we have said there is every area has its technical words. Moreover, the style and structure of academic writing can vary across disciplines. For example, in the humanities, we have longer paragraphing and topic sentences which are very long. But when they come to scientific disciplines, the language is very precise and to the point. There are no explicit or very open topic sentences and so on. So you must look at your area. And the best way here, read articles in your area. Read articles in your area so that you know exactly how it is done. So the first type of academic writing is called descriptive writing. Descriptive writing. So in descriptive writing, um, we present detailed information about a specific subject by elaborating on its characteristics. So here we just describe characteristics. We describe. To describe is to give details. You give details. You give details about a subject you are researching. If it is you want to describe Google Meet, if you want to describe Google Meet, for example, you just describe the different functions and features of Google Meet application. And you stop there. You don't argue. In descriptive writing, there is no argument. You simply relay information about a particular feature or a particular thing you are talking about. So it has an objective tone, but ensures that information is conveyed with precision and clarity. Precision and clarity. So you clearly describe or give the details of that particular thing you are talking about. So personal opinions or subjective interpretations are avoided. Subjectivity is where you are biased towards something. Yeah, maybe between Kenneth, Zoom, and Google Meet. Yeah, you like Kenneth, but you don't like what? Google Meet. So sometimes you just show your biases. But we are in research, we are not interested in your attitudes. Look at areas of comparison. And then you do what? You give the features of each. Then you say, from this, I think we prefer this because of this. That's what we are saying. We are mostly interested in facts. We are not interested in emotions or how we feel about something. So descriptive writing is seen as the simplest type of academic writing because its main purpose is to provide essential facts and information about something. There is no analysis, there is no argumentation. And this, as I said last time, argument rules the world. So in academic writing, if you do not argue, then you are doing description, and so your paper will not be taken seriously. Maybe just before I continue, let me see. People are sending messages. Let me just read your messages and see what you are saying. I can't. This is today really. I'm interested in how. Password inakataa. Password UCU 104. It's B, eh? Yeah, UCU, but it must be capital. It must be capital. UCU 104, capital B. Do not use small b, and U must also be U is capital, C capital, and U must be capital. I don't know why if you are some are still having challenges. I'm trying to sign the attendance, but it's telling me that I've entered the wrong password. You can also let me ask the others. What about the others? Those who have signed in, let me show by raise your hand so that I see those who have signed. But I want to continue so that we talk about these things at the end. And want to say incorrect password. What about the rest? Any other person who has done it? I gave you UCU and for capital B. Is it working? It's not working. No. Did I change the password? Did I change the password? UCU and for capital B. Did I change? No, 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 no. Then that means okay, let me just okay, what I can do, let me just finish and then I work on that. If it's not working, let us just finish the lesson and then we are going to work on that. Thank you for the feedback. Yeah, so we say this is the simplest type of academic writing. And why? It's because you just give characteristics. You just give features. But if you just give us, for example, features of Zoom application, for example, that is very you don't learn a lot. Yeah. There's no much insight if you just give us features of Zoom. Unless you want to tell us how Zoom is being used to accomplish something very unique. Yeah? Something very unique. And actually, Zoom and Google Meet, they picked up during COVID how they were able to connect people just by a touch of a finger. Before that, we used to have Skype, and Skype used to be too expensive, and it was just meant for very big offices up there, people in civil service, the permanent secretaries, and actually you could see that before COVID, most of these apps could only be used by the high society, but when COVID came and Zoom, Google Meet, Kenneth, and others came, Skype was totally deconstructed, and now we even hear nothing about Skype. So maybe if you now focus on that, maybe the contribution of Zoom applications in a certain area, but just telling us features of Zoom, you cannot learn much. And that is why descriptive writing is seen as the basic, the simplest form of writing. Simplest form of writing. That's why it is not highly respected. Let's move on. So assignments that require descriptive writing typically include instructions such as identify, which just asks you to recognize something or to give a list, report, summarize. So these are just very simple things where you just restate something. And that is why this is a very simple type of academic writing. We just summarize something. It is not very difficult to summarize something. Yeah, we just summarize the features of something. And that's why it is the simplest form of academic writing. Then we have analytical writing. Yeah, so this is the use of, although the use of descriptive writing is relatively uncommon in university level, most academic texts incorporate analytical elements to provide a more comprehensive understanding of the subject matter. Analytical writing extends beyond simply presenting facts, as it involves reorganizing and interpreting information to uncover patterns, relationships, categories, ultimately offering more nuanced insights. Yeah. So it deals with things like patterns of something, relationships. What's the relationship between Faraday's theory and the topic you want to to focus in. So when you are applying theory, for example, what is the connection between feminism and governance in Kenya? You see the way feminism was able to affect the Kenya Constitution from 2010, where the post of the female representative was created, the third rule gender was created. So you can see this is a sociological theory that is affecting governance. So when you see relationships, then we are talking about analytical writing. So in analytical writing, you may be required to either apply established categories and relationships from your field or create new ones that are tailored to your specific analysis. For example, what's the nexus, the connection between robots and literature, or robots and computer science? Yeah, how is artificial intelligence affecting learning in class? So if you show a nexus between artificial intelligence and learning in class, you are doing analysis because you are looking at relationships where you are allowed to compare between two things or contrast between two things. You are doing analysis. You are comparing, for example, Faraday's law on something and let's say maybe let's say somebody like Truma, maybe there is somebody called Truma or Charles law on that particular thing. So where two theories are being compared to look at something, then or being juxtaposed, then that is analysis. Then that is analysis. So this approach helps to systematically break down complex information, making it easier to compare and contrast different aspects. So what do we do in analytical writing? One, we do analyzing. This involves dissecting a subject into its component parts and examining how these parts work together. For instance, analyzing a research study might involve looking at its methodology, data, conclusions, understanding its effectiveness. When you are writing a term paper, you are doing analysis because there must be a connection between your topic, between the method you use, between the objective and the methodology, and then between the objective and the conclusion. If you set out to discuss something, then in the conclusion, we must show that you have discussed that particular thing. If you set out to look at the causes of what? Of poor performance in class, the causes of poor performance in the computer science class, then the conclusion must be related, must show the causes of poor performance in class. So the objectives must align with the problem statement, the theory, the methodology, conclusion, and findings or and recommendations. Yeah, and that's why without good analytical skills, you will discover that your objectives are not in line with your methodology, and your method is not in line with your findings, and your findings do not align with your conclusion, and the conclusion does not align with the recommendation. Those are poor analytical skills. That's what we are saying. There must be alignment. There must be alignment, and that is what we call analysis. That's what we call analysis. And so in analytical writing, once you show that kind of alignment, then you prove to the audience and also to your teachers that you have analytical skills, yeah, or you have analytical writing skills. Yeah, the topic, yeah, like the background of your study, it must tell us the major concepts in the topic. That's what we are saying. We are looking at causes of poor performance in the computer class. So in the background, you tell us about your computer class and how maybe sometimes it does not perform well, because now your background will now be in line with your topic. But you cannot talk about causes of poor performance in the computer class in the topic, and then in the background you are talking about the IT class, or you are talking about the, let's say, the forensic class, or you are talking about a history class. Yeah? What is that? Watu watajua tu hapa kuna shida. So there must be alignment. There must be alignment to prove that indeed you have analytical skills. I hope you are getting what I'm saying. So you cannot write a good term paper without analytical skills. Otherwise, things will not align together. Things like if you have chosen a theory, you are saying you are using Faraday's theory. That theory must be seen in the paper, how that theory is being used to analyze objectives, to look for data, you see, because that's the theory you chose. But if that theory does not run through your paper, you lack analytical writing skills and your paper will flop. One thing with modern studies is that there is a lot of formulas. And you watu wa science kwanza mnajua. Yeah? Everything is formulaic, like analysis. Something must run through. If you have chosen two objectives, you must focus on those objectives so that they produce the method. The objectives the objectives will determine the method, and the method must align with the objectives, and the findings must align with the objectives. Yani mambo yanaenda yananyoroka sawa sawa. That's what I'm saying. Do not you are saying this is the objectives, and what comes in the findings or in the conclusions, what you set out to study and the findings are in collision. Eh? Those are a poor analytical skills. So we are talking about analyzing is about relationship between different parts of our paper. There must be that alignment. That's what I'm saying. And then there is the question of comparing. This requires you to identify similarities and differences between two or more items. What is the similarity between this theory and this theory? What's the similarity between this application and this application? When we are comparing like that, then we are doing analysis. Then contrasting. When we look at the differences between different things, we are analyzing. What is the difference between this theory and this theory? This theory and this theory. When we do that, we are analyzing. When we do that, we are analyzing. And then relating. And nimeongea mambo ya relationships. Are you able to relate different parts of the paper? Are you able to relate this theory to this theory? Are you able to relate your theory and the empirical research? Empirical research are the people who have done research similar to your work. Similar to your work. So you relate your topic to what they have done, and then you find a gap. Sigmund Freud said this, or Carl Jung said this, but this is what I think. Yeah? That Hegel is saying something close to what I'm saying, but they differ this way. No. So you are relating your study to what others have done, but you are showing a gap. That this is the gap I want to fill. In academic writing, we must fill a gap. We must fill a gap. Just like in business. If you want to do well, you must fill a gap. It cannot be everybody selling mandazi here and you also want to come and start mandazi there. You know, you cannot do that. Look for a gap to fill. Look for another kind of business which will attract people. So scientific writing is also that way. We should be able to fill what? We should be able to fill a gap. Watu wa attendance nimewambia wacha tumalize, we are going to look at that. Just relax and listen first. I'm finishing in the next 15 minutes, and then we will look at the attendance. Attendance, you'll be allowed to fill up to 6 p.m. So don't get stressed. Just listen. Just listen, understand the class. Acha mambo mengi, haifanyi nini, wewe relax. Things will work out. If I did not give the right, I can still change the password for you na itafanya. So wacha kelele, let's listen. So examining. So what is to examine? This is another feature of analytical writing. It means inspecting a subject in detail to uncover underlying aspects. Yeah. So you interpret, you think deeply about a subject. And sometimes you even give a judgment. To evaluate is to give a judgment. Maybe there is something that you do not like. Maybe there is something that you do not like. So of course we are saying you show us that what you are doing is quite different from what others are doing. This one is saying this one is saying this, but this is what I say. And sometimes you can critique. You can critique what others have done. That's what I'm saying. Sometimes you can critique what others have done. Some people are talking in the background. Some people are talking in the background. What is it? Just want to, there's something I want to see here. Some people are talking in the background. Yeah, so in examining, you even evaluate. You can show the weaknesses of a certain point of view, and then you bring in yours. You bring in yours.
Yeah.
You're saying, you say this, but I think that is a weakness, and that's why I want to come in to fill this particular gap. Don't write on my don't write, don't use the whiteboard, eh? That's what I'm saying. Don't use the whiteboard. Don't. If you do that, I will throw you out. I will throw you out. Don't dirty my don't use the whiteboard. Now, so persuasive writing. So in persuasive writing, you take a position on a subject and persuade your audience and persuade your audience with the evidence. So there are those who say artificial intelligence, yeah, is destructive to society. And there are those who say artificial intelligence is a blessing. It is actually a merit to society. So if you are saying it is destructive, you must research and then you give us evidence that indeed AI is destructive to the society. Like Sweden have now banned all screens in schools. They are now saying we must go back to paper and pen. We don't want screens. So somebody must have done a research and persuaded the government of Sweden. Yeah. So persuading is where you now research, but in evidence, you don't just write from your head. This is not like a composition you used to write in high school where you just write evidence from your mind. No, you are supposed to go to the field, research, yeah, get either quantitative or qualitative data, and then you justify your point of view. So we don't just use imagination. For us, evidence must come from the field. So to create persuasive writing, it is necessary to articulate and support one's point of view. You support your point of view, which may include arguments, recommendations, interpretations, or evaluations to strengthen the credibility of one's claims. Evidence such as references or research findings from published sources or also from the field can be used to do what? To bolster or to support your point of view. So we don't just use imaginations. So to develop a good argument, do the following. Review existing research. Do literature review. Mm? Read about artificial intelligence. Read widely. Read those who have said it's bad. Read those who have said it's good. And then do what? You now choose the side. Number two, identify patterns in the data or references to determine where the evidence is strongest. You see? So identify the side with the strong points. Yeah. But even if the other one has strong points and you feel this one should be the side, then you must look for as much evidence as possible to do what? To support your side. But you must read well. That's why for us in scientific writing, we must do reading, we must do research in the laboratories, we must do interviews, we must use questionnaire, we must look for that information. We do not just depend on our mind. You don't sit in a corner. And even if you sit in a corner and they are doing qualitative research, that is okay. Where you do desktop research, you look for those papers. That's what we are saying on the internet, on my loft, whatever I'm saying. But you don't just concoct things from your mind. That's what I'm saying. Don't just concoct things from your mind. Explore multiple interpretations and assess their real life implications. So read, compare different points of views, and then try to see their real life implications. Engage in discussions with others to gain further insight and determine if your perspective aligns with theirs. So when you are put in a group to do something, when you are placed in a group, discuss those findings with somebody in a group. Discuss with somebody because people have different perspectives and you will be able to broaden your mind. Like in the university, you people have come with different abilities and don't ignore anybody. Be humble, have intellectual humility, and discuss with others. And you'll see how much you learn. You learn a lot. You learn a lot from others. You can really learn a lot from others. This page, this slide is not it's not very clear. But maybe I can just read now, but later I will change. But now that some people may use it to take notes. Some people may use it to take notes. I think, let me just um, see what we can do. Um, Then when I prepared it, I could not see this. Na huyu mtu ameandika, this fellow is using my white. It's also making my work even. Yeah. Yeah, so let me just move. So effectively present your argument. Now, to effectively present your argument, ensure there is coherence. So when you are doing academic writing, ensure there is coherence. There is a connection between the different parts of the term paper. Introduction, I use even sentences. When you are writing sentences, when you are moving to the next, use words like further, firstly, secondly, moreover, further, the next point, to ensure that ideas flow from one section to another.
Kuja kunyonya naye
Even in the introduction, you can say we will begin with
klasi yangu iongee.
the merits of artificial intelligence and move on to the merits of artificial intelligence. That's how you move. I don't know if
Sasa niko excel hadi saa ngapi?
can you stop talking?
Leo unaambia muende.
Can you stop talking? So then clarify your reasoning. Make sure that your reasoning in each claim, is clear and understandable. Avoid ambiguity. Avoid the question of sometimes doing what? Sometimes being illogical in argument, sometimes contradicting yourself. That's what we are saying. For example, you cannot say, you know what's like English teacher. That is, English teacher is very ambiguous. It can be a teacher of mathematics from England, or it can be a teacher of English from any country. So avoid words that have ambiguous meanings, that can have different interpretations. Validate assumptions. Ensure that your underlying assumptions are valid and well supported. If you assume that there is life in the terrestrial space, there is life beyond the sun, there is life on other planets, then you must validate your assumptions. Here, this is not imaginative writing. You must give evidence about what you are saying. Provide evidence to support every claim you make. So avoid sweeping statements. Yeah, don't just say, Kenya is the most corrupt country in the world. Such a statement is a sweeping statement. What exactly do you mean? So give a source, cite a source. You say this and this person claim that Kenya is the most corrupt country. So we want evidence. Avoid what we call sweeping statements. Then critical writing. Critical writing is widely used in research, in postgraduate, and even undergraduate. Now, one thing with this one here is a bit different. It's a bit different because you scrutinize a researcher's interpretation or argument and then assess its strengths and weaknesses. So the critical writing, you look at the strengths of somebody's argument. If you are saying Google Meet is the best application, I come in and I want to see which evidence have you given to show that. So if I discover a weakness, I point it out. If there is a strength, I also point it out, and then I now show the gap I'm going to fill. That Peter has said this, but this is what I say. You cannot find a gap in scientific writing without critical writing, because it's critical writing that will actually show the weaknesses of what others have done and the strengths of what others have done for you to locate your gap. And as I've said in scientific writing, you must fill a gap. Otherwise, you will not add anything to the scholarly conversation. That is something I want us to know. So even as you write your term papers, when you read those articles in the library, don't just read and then take everything as it is. I like saying swallow everything. Don't just swallow everything. You need to look at the findings, you look at the problem statements, and see if the writer is adding anything to your knowledge. And sometimes they may say something, but you may spot a weakness. Yeah, like for us in the social sciences, there is somebody called Franz Fanon who said that Africa must develop through hybridity. We must take cultures, our culture, good things from our culture and good things from Western culture. But Aimé Césaire said, no, we must go back to our African culture, everything that was in the past. No. So when you look at those two, Aimé Césaire and Franz Fanon, each one of them has a weakness and a strength. Because when you look at Aimee Césaire, when you say we go back to all our past cultures, it means we will never adopt any science and technology from the West. Yeah, but again, some of our cultures are good. Some of them are good. Caring for others. We always have this Harambe spirit. Africans really care for each other. They are not like whites. Yeah. But again, if you look at now, when Frantz Fanon said we borrow good things from the West, again, we are borrowing even including the bad ones. Yeah, we are borrowing even including the bad ones. So you can see those are two philosophers in the humanities. But now, through critical writing, I'm able to point out some weaknesses. And then from there, I can either extend Frantz Fanon or I can critique Aimé Césaire. So I look for a side and then I look for my own examples to support my argument. That's what we are saying. So I've just given you that from the humanities so that you look for yours in your area. To effectively engage in critical writing, one, accurately summarize. So first of all, you summarize what that scholar has said. If it is Frantz Fanon, the way I've just summarized, or hybridity, or blah, blah, you summarize in a good number of words. You can summarize even in 200 words. Then after that, you now look for what? You formulate an opinion. Number two, after I've looked at the images, I come up with a reasoned opinion. And I say, although Aimé Césaire said we go back to our culture, but we cannot take all our past cultures. Like in Nigeria, they used to throw twins in the forest. Anytime a forest was born, a twin was born, he was thrown in what we call an evil forest. Twins, they were thrown there, you know. And there are some diseases, if you had them, you would be buried alive in the evil forest. So you can see such cultures, they were not good. So you can now say, I don't agree with the images are there. So you formulate your opinion. So you come up with your own opinion now. After that, now provide evidence to support your opinion. You have taken something from this, something from here, and this is the evidence I have. So mostly in scholarly writing, without critical writing, you cannot write a master's thesis and get and become a scholar. You cannot get a PhD without critical writing. Also, in your term papers, you cannot write good term papers that score good grades without this kind of thinking. Without this kind of thinking or writing, it's critical thinking and also scholarly or critical writing. Then you must have strong writing skills. Yeah. You'll discover that when you go out to the field, most careers will want good paragraphing skills, good report writing skills. So we must develop good, strong writing skills for us to be good scholars. Are we able to argue and support our point of views using evidence? So you should construct your own argument and you paraphrase. You use your own words to paraphrase. Don't just cite everything. Some of you, when you're talking about Faraday, you just copy paste what Faraday has said. That is wrong. Paraphrase. Use your own words. Read, understand, and use your own words to do what? To argue as you continue. Paraphrasing is a mark of greater or strong academic writing skills. So by mastering these elements, you can produce well-rounded critical analysis. What are the functions of academic writing? One, informing. When we create some of these studies, we are able to inform the audience through like descriptive writing. When we describe features of a certain thing, we are informing the audience. And also when we come up with a new argument like Galileo was able to discover that the earth is spherical, and he was able to inform us. And up to now, when Copernicus now came up with a telescope, yeah, we were able to discover that indeed the earth is flat, and we were informed. Yeah. Then number two, analyzing. Analyzing. Yeah. The purpose of this is to deconstruct complex ideas. And when we break down complex ideas, we are able to create insights and new knowledge and all that. When we apply a theory to something and we write a paper which has great relationships, strong relationships and coherence, then we are analyzing. And analyzing is therefore very important function of academic writing. Yeah. So it helps you to be better in analytical skills. That's what we are saying. And for most careers in academia, you need proper analysis skills, because you will analyze things, and when you get new insights, you will present to conferences, and you'll have an impact. You will publish in academic papers, academic journals, and you will grow. Then we have persuading. You take a position and you persuade. For example, if you prove that artificial intelligence is beneficial to the society, then you have persuaded us. People are now talking very negative about it. That those who are taking very negative about, and it's because it's also being misused. Most of us, we even don't read nowadays. You just use artificial intelligence, and you want to. Artificial intelligence is also good if you have also, you know how to use it. If you know how to use it to give you good resources, to just help you open your eyes on an idea, and then after that you go and research. But you don't just depend on it again. So it's now, if like now, if you write a paper to persuade, like some people are very negative, and we want to persuade them about AI. You see, you need proper academic writing skill, writing skills, because in academic writing, you take a position, and support it. You take a position and support it. And that is what we call persuasive academic writing. You take a position, and what is a thesis? A thesis is an argument supported by evidence. A thesis is an argument supported by evidence. And anybody who is a lecturer, they wrote a thesis and they defended it. They came up with a new idea, and they were able to persuade professors that that particular idea is valid. So you cannot do without persuading. Then critiquing. It helps you to critique literature review, to critique past studies. Literature review are studies which have been done in the past on a topic. Those are the ones we call, that's what we call literature review. So you must critique it for you to be able to show the position you are taking. It also helps in reflecting. In reflecting, we get insights into something. We get deeper insights into something, and those insights are the ones that create knowledge. People are interested in insights, and most academicians, when they sit down for a long time in study and research, they find insights in a topic. Yeah. In a topic, and those insights will educate. And that's why I've just told you, Galileo, it took him long, but later he discovered that the earth is spherical. After a lot of research, there's another man called Sigmund Freud. It took him 40 years, and he established a field called psychoanalysis. Yeah? And he said human beings are motivated by three parts of the mind: the id, the superego, and the ego. Those are insights. And they only come from academic writing. Then synthesizing. This is where we have knowledges from different fields being brought together. And like theory. Theory is usually multidisciplinary. We have a theory called robopoetics, and it brings literature with computer science and IT together. Robots are being used to write books, and the robots can also analyze books. So literature now integrates with the computer science and IT, and that is what we are calling synthesizing. Yeah? Different things are brought together, fields of knowledges intersect. Yeah? And then documenting. When you finish a term paper, you must know how to document it. It must have the top page. It must have, you can have a table of content. Then what else does it have? It has introduction, main body, conclusion. It has references, and then you bind it together. You bind it very well. And the top page is the way it is written. There is a way it is written. So it teaches you how to document different types of what? Different types of academic works. And we talk about academic works, we are talking about term paper is the smallest academic work. Then we have an article, which you publish in a journal. Then we have a chapter, which we also publish in a journal. Then we have an academic book, academic book. We also have a thesis. A thesis is usually defended at master's and PhD level. to give people higher qualifications. So, and all these different academic works, there's a way they are documented, and academic writing will show you how to document them. So in summary, we have examined the various types of academic writing and the unique attributes, including descriptive, analytical, and then we have looked at persuasive, and finally critical writing. And so that is the end of my presentation. That is the end of my presentation. So at this point now,
class teacher.
I can maybe, you want to ask a question?
The class is done.
Yeah, the class is done. Yes, I'm through. And I think what I can do, no,
That's why.
I cannot if I stop recording. Okay, let me just, if somebody has a question, I can, maybe you can post in your chat or you can ask, and then I will correct your attendance for people to sign up to the last time. Okay, the attendance signing goes up to 6 p.m., 6 o'clock, I mean. So past 6 o'clock, you will not be able, even if you are a member of the class, past 6 o'clock, you will not be able to sign the attendance. But between now and the 6, so that means we have 1 hour. So anybody who has tried, okay, somebody to ask a question, you can ask maybe before you talk about attendance. Anybody with a question? So there are 4 types of academic writing, and that's what I've explained. So we ensure you are doing activities. We are likely to have a card. It must be, is it next week? Yeah, I think next Friday you'll have a card. It's week 5. And if you wouldn't have done all the other activities if you have not have done activities up to week 4, you will not be able to access the card. So ensure all the activities in the Moodle platform. We will open all of them for you. Ensure you have done all of them so that you now, when you open, it now gives you access to the card. If you would not have done that, you won't be able to access the card. And we don't want makeups. And nobody should miss that card. And we are also confident, and we have faith that everything will be well. Everything will go well. I see 19 new messages. 19 messages. Where are they? Tutulie. Um, yeah, the card will be there in week 5. The password is not working. It has some errors. Okay, I will go and see incorrect password. But I thought what about the code? What about the QR code? Moodle platform does not work for me. Why? Innocent. The Moodle platform does not work for you. Why? Why does it? Why is the Moodle platform? Somebody's asking, what is Moodle? Moodle platform is a Masomo portal. When you say Moodle platform, he's saying Masomo portal is not working for him. Um, why? That is again. But now if you don't have a name, what could you Techno CM5? Is that really a student? Why can't you sign in with your name? Now, if it does not open, the person who can assist you is Odell. Mine also does not work. I think it is. Um, but if it does not work, how come? Because do you know this class? I've actually set it on Masomo portal. If you are able to attend this class, it means your Moodle is working. Though some of you think that this link I've just created, this link, first of all, even the Zoom I'm working with, this Zoom I'm working with, the university is the one that are subscribed. And that's why we are able to go even for 3 hours. We can go even for 3 hours. The university has subscribed for it. And again, when I now create the link, this link I've actually shared it through Masomo portal. So I actually picked it from Masomo portal to the WhatsApp group. So if you are able to access this class, it means your Masomo portal is working because this class is being offered through Masomo portal. And anybody at the university may actually access this class as we are going, we are learning. Anybody at the university who is interested can listen to what we are doing. So don't tell me that your your link is not working, your Masomo portal is not working, and you are in this class because it would not have given you access. So I don't know why, but for technical issues, I will still advise you to go to Masomo portal to Odell. I'm sorry to Odell. There is a gentleman called Shadrach, another one called is it Mutembei? Yeah, they will help you. Don't just send a message. Go there physically and ask. So I want to look for your password. But I think I should end so that we now use WhatsApp. We now use WhatsApp for na msichore vitu hapa because now if we record this video and we want to share with you and others, and then you are misusing the whiteboard like a grade 3 baby, yeah. I don't know why people behave like grade 3 babies and you are in campus, yeah. Don't do what you are doing. Some of you mnataka mfungiwe kama watoto wa grade 3. Si tabia nzuri. So don't misuse your freedom. Please use it responsibly. So I can see so far we have 165 people. That's good attendance. So let's go to the attendance and then we can handle that from the WhatsApp group. So let me just first of all end the class. Thank you for attending. Thank you for